Theory of change and logic frameworks are two popular approaches for planning, monitoring, and evaluating extension projects. They both aim to show how an intervention leads to desired outcomes and impacts, but they differ in their focus, format, and purpose. In this episode, we'll explain the differences between these two methods and how they can be used effectively in different contexts.
We've previously discussed how a theory of change, or TOC, is a process of articulating the assumptions, pathways, and mechanisms that underlie how a project or program will achieve its goals. It's often presented as a diagram with narrative text that illustrates the causal links between activities, outputs, outcomes, and impacts. A TOC also identifies the external factors and risks that may affect the change process, the evidence or indicators that can be used to measure progress and success, as well as the assumptions that underlie it.
A logic framework, or log frame, is a tool for designing, managing, and evaluating a project or program based on the clear logic of inputs, activities, outputs, outcomes, and impacts. It is usually presented as a matrix or table that summarizes the key elements, such as objectives, targets, and assumptions. A log frame also helps define the roles and responsibilities of different stakeholders and partners involved.
The main difference between a TOC and a log frame is that a TOC provides a comprehensive and holistic view of how change happens, while a log frame provides a concise and structured view of what the project or program does. A TOC is more flexible and adaptable to complex and dynamic contexts where there may be multiple pathways and actors influencing change. A log frame is more linear, assuming a direct and predictable relationship between inputs, activities, outputs, outcomes, and impacts.
Another difference is that a TOC is more focused on explaining why and how change happens, while a log frame is more focused on describing what the project or program does and where it might be monitored and evaluated. A TOC helps to clarify the assumptions and hypotheses behind the intervention logic, as well as the evidence base that supports them. A log frame helps to specify the indicators and targets that will be used to measure performance and results.
A third difference is a TOC is mainly used as a tool for design, while a log frame is mainly used as a tool for evaluation and reporting. A TOC can help to identify the most relevant and effective strategies and interventions for achieving the desired change, as well as the potential risks and challenges that may arise along the way. A log frame can help plan, implement, and track the activities and outputs, as well as report on the outcomes and impacts achieved.
Both TOC and log frame have their strengths and limitations, depending on their purpose, context, and audience. They are not mutually exclusive, but rather complementary methods that can be used together to enhance the quality and effectiveness of interventions. Some practitioners suggest that TOC should be used first to develop a clear vision and theory of how change happens, followed by a log frame to operationalize and monitor the intervention logic. Others argue that TOC can replace log frame altogether, as it offers a more realistic and nuanced way of capturing the complexity and diversity of change processes.
Well, we think it comes down to personal preference. Regardless of which approach we use, it's important to remember that both TOC and log frame are not static or fixed products, but rather dynamic and iterative processes that require constant reflection and learning. They should be seen as living documents that can be revised and updated as new information, evidence, or feedback emerges. They should also be used as communication tools that can facilitate dialogue and collaboration amongst different stakeholders and partners.
Anne Murray Brown has captured this neatly in this infographic, which compares and contrasts the two approaches. We'll add the links to this and some other websites we've found useful below the blog post.
We hope this episode has helped you understand the difference between theory of change and logic frameworks, as well as their potential uses in extension. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to share them below the blog post. As you know, we want this to be a two-way conversation.
Thanks, folks, for joining us on this Enablers of Change episode. Remember to subscribe to our newsletter if you'd like to know when new episodes are available. And if you liked what you heard, please tell your friends so they too can join the conversation.